And what is up, everyone, as we watch the Cybertruck leave the gym parking lot? We're not going to be covering that. I've seen that Cybertruck in person now. It's pretty wild. Anyways, we're going to get into this Toyota Overlander build, or just more of a street Overlander at this point. So yeah, let's dive into this video. So this video is basically just going to cover, you know, hey, I just bought a 3rd gen 4Runner. What are some common issues? Just like every platform has, even the Mustang has its common issues, even though it's a street swapped car at this point. But what are some common things that I should look out for, or you yourself look out for when having this vehicle? And what are some aftermarket ideas you could do along the way? So I feel like I've tastefully modded this vehicle, in my opinion, to keep it, you know, it could still do everything it needs to do if it went off-roading and all that, but it's very simple and clean, just how I like it. Not shiny, not flashy. It just kind of blends into the background, and when you see it, you're like, damn, the thing does look pretty good. So let's go ahead and do that. So you just got a 3rd gen 4Runner. The first thing I recommend having checked by a shop or doing yourself or replaced anyways are the lower ball joints. Knock on wood, I haven't had it. I have not had that happen to me yet, but every time that I've taken this to the shop to have some kind of part done, I usually say, hey, you know, if the lower ball joints, can you check them, make sure that they're good, they're solid. They always come back with positive feedback, so let's go ahead and keep that going. Yeah, so I'd go ahead and replace that. The only main issue I ever had common wise was the upper radiator hose was not filtering coolant through or anything like that. It was, so I went ahead and actually had replaced a while back with just like a Napa one, but I went ahead and reached out to Mishimoto. They were cool enough to go ahead and send me these, basically like a whole heater, because I have the rear heater in this one. It doesn't have the rear AC, but the rear heater for the passengers in the back. Went ahead and had all this done. Somebody's got a turboed BMW, and went ahead and had them replace it with the upper and lower, I guess, silicone hoses or whatever. Yeah, I know that guy. There you go. Anyways, a lot of people go ahead and replace these. I've swapped this out for the Volant and K&N intake. Always threw the check engine light both times, so I just went back to factory. There's a lot of issues about that. I read the filters have too much oil, so it tricks the light to come on and all that good stuff. So wanted to keep that light off. Not a Volkswagen Dash, not a Christmas tree. So went ahead, just put the factory one back on. It doesn't make a difference besides like a cool little sound. So that's something that other people do and don't do. So that, just keep that in mind. One thing that I do recommend that even for the Mustang is, so these are the Spiker hood struts. I definitely recommend just getting a set of those. They're like 80 bucks. You kind of just tap them in right here and boom, they sit up a lot higher. So it makes it a lot easier to work on this thing when you don't have the hood. This thing, I still need to take this off, but you don't have this thing in the way. Another cool thing that they went ahead and added was the oil cap. Fits perfectly. I had an issue with one on the Mustang from Mishimoto, but this one seems to work out perfectly. No issues with that. Another big upgrade that I would do is the lighting on the 4Runners. It is much better than most cars, but at the same time, if you want to get the most out of everything, they are the glass headlights, which I do like. TEQ Customs, they do retrofitted headlights. The lead times take a little bit, take about a couple months to get, but when I received mine, it is a little pricey as well. I did like this, just a simple basic. There's no halos or anything like that special. There's just a retrofit, the matte black housing, and then the projector itself. So, but it is bright as hell. I'll have the low beams on with the fog light still, and I'll get flashed at, and then I throw my high beams on to flash, like, hey, I don't have my high beams on, dude. And yeah, you know, it's just definitely improves the lighting of the vehicle. You'll be able to see, especially driving at night. If you have a hard time seeing, it's definitely the biggest investment I would say for these vehicles, besides the lower ball joints. Added the grill for the little cosmetic look of the lighting, the taco badge. Also, I made up my mind. I already ordered a set. Like I said, sometimes I've noticed on the 4Runners, lead time making parts. Go ahead and get rid of the factory step rails. It looks good to a certain point, but once you lift it, if you want to make it look better and kind of like blend in more, get a set of like rock crawlers or step rails or whatever. I went with the 4x4 Victory ones. They are a little over $1,000, but they look damn good, and I can't wait to put them on this. It's gonna match that Baja rack, And the other issues the vehicles that I've noticed the 4Runners have, always check these, the back glass. Knock on wood, nothing has happened to me, but sometimes they seem to fall out. I've seen stuff like that, so I don't know how expensive it is to replace it. But always the biggest thing for the 4Runners are suspension. Check your suspension, make sure the suspension, and rust. Rust is the other biggest thing. So once you're down there checking the suspension, making sure that, you know, the ball joins or the CB axle, especially when you lift these. I got the long travel ones from Napa, as you can maybe see. Always check. The biggest issue that these have is the rust. So that's just a common issue before you buy one. And if you already have one, make sure you get it cleaned. I don't know. That's just the biggest issue that these have. And these little trim pieces right here, this is eventually next year is going to get painted and it will look a lot better. So the paint isn't always the best either on these, but this one has held up pretty well. I can at least say. So it is pretty clean for what it is. It is a 2002, so the last year of the 3rd gen. And let's see. I think the last thing that I would say for aftermarket idea is maybe the tinted taillights. I definitely like those to match, but the chase lights and the backup camera. So blind spots and all that good stuff when you're backing up, I know it's not a big deal for most people, but I went ahead and had Snowbound Customs. That's what it is, snowboundcustoms.com. Basically a factory spoiler, had it powder coated here at a local shop, and then add the Baja lights with the backup camera, with the radio. So if you want to upgrade the entertainment system, get like an Apple CarPlay radio. I have a Kenwood. It has the backup camera, and at the same time, the chase lights, you add your little off-road light switch right here, and it helps when you're backing up. So you just turn that on, boom, and it's on a switch, so it's not always on. And at nighttime, those are bright as shit. And it also helps, these things are slow, and people tailgate. No, you're not supposed to, but I throw it on, and they definitely back off because it's blinding as hell. So that's just gonna do it for this video, guys. I'll make an updated video as I go along, having these step rails on. It's gonna look a lot better. But there's just a few things that I'd look out for on these vehicles, like oil leaks and stuff, obviously. These are famous for valve cover leaks. I've had both of mine. This one obviously looks newer than the other side, but this side can't. I think these come loose, the bolts do, so just have the shop or whatever yourself tighten them down. Always check for those, rust, and have the lower ball joints replaced and the radiator hoses, because they just dry out over time. And yeah, that's really it. So hopefully these aftermarket ideas also give you a little idea of maybe what you want to do. Invest in the lighting, and cosmetically makes it look that much better. But yeah, overall, I love this build. It's probably my favorite one on the channel, besides the Mustang, of course. But I think this one's probably a little more. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I appreciate you stopping by. Subscribe for future content and for stuff that's coming to the channel, definitely. Catch you later.